The glass tower of Harrison Industries stood proudly in the center of the city, reflecting the morning sunlight as a beacon of success. Thousands of employees worked inside the building every day, helping the company earn millions of dollars and maintain its reputation as one of the most respected businesses in the country. At the top of it all was Daniel Harrison, the company's CEO. Daniel had built the company into an industry leader. Business magazines praised his leadership. Investors admired his vision. Competitors respected his achievements. But despite the company's success, something had been bothering him for months. The numbers looked perfect. Profits were rising. Sales were growing. Shareholders were happy. Yet employee satisfaction surveys told a different story. Morale was declining. Customer complaints were increasing. Workers seemed less engaged than before. Whenever Daniel asked his senior executives about these concerns, he always received the same answer. Everything is under control. Our employees are happy. The company is running smoothly. But Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. One evening, long after everyone had left the office, Daniel sat alone in his executive suite staring at the city lights below. The reports on his desk told one story. His instincts told another. And after several hours of thinking, he made a decision. If he wanted the truth, he would have to find it himself. The next morning, Daniel called his trusted assistant, Sarah, into his office. "I need your help," he said. Sarah listened as Daniel explained his plan. At first, she thought he was joking. "You want to work undercover inside your own company? For 1 week. As a regular employee?" Daniel nodded. "No special treatment. No executive privileges. I want to see what life is really like for the people who keep this company running." Within a few days, the arrangements were complete. Only Sarah and 2 board members knew the truth. To everyone else, Daniel would appear to be traveling overseas for important business meetings. Instead, he would enter the company under a false identity. His new name would be David Carter. A temporary employee assigned to different departments throughout the week. He changed his appearance slightly. A different hairstyle. A trimmed beard. Simple clothing. Glasses. The transformation wasn't dramatic, but it was enough. Most employees wouldn't recognize him. Monday morning arrived. For the first time in years, Daniel entered his own company through the employee entrance instead of the executive lobby. No one greeted him. No one held doors open. No one treated him like an important person. He was just another worker starting a new job. And strangely, he enjoyed it. A supervisor handed him a badge. "You're the new temp." "Yes," Daniel replied. "Good. Follow me." That was it. No introductions. No speeches. No special treatment. Just work. His first assignment was in the shipping department. The work was physically demanding. Packages needed sorting. Orders had to be checked. Inventory had to be organized. Daniel quickly noticed something surprising. The employees worked hard. Very hard. Yet many seemed exhausted. Not physically. Emotionally. During lunch, Daniel sat quietly in the break room listening to conversations. "We've reported the inventory software problem 3 times, one employee complained. No one listens. Another nodded. Management only notices issues when customers complain. Daniel remained silent. The comments surprised him. Senior executives had repeatedly assured him that communication between employees and management was excellent. Clearly, reality was different. Over the next 2 days, Daniel rotated through several departments. Customer service. Warehouse operations. Inventory management. Administration. Everywhere he went, he noticed the same pattern. Dedicated employees. Hardworking teams. Good people trying their best. But many felt invisible. Many believed their concerns weren't being heard. And then Daniel noticed someone unusual. His name was Michael Torres. Michael worked in maintenance. He wasn't a manager. He wasn't an executive. He didn't have a fancy office or an impressive title. Most people barely noticed him. Yet something about him stood out. Every morning he arrived before everyone else. Every evening he stayed later than most employees. Whenever someone needed help, Michael was there. A broken chair. Michael fixed it. Heavy boxes. Michael carried them. A nervous new employee. Michael encouraged them. A stressed coworker. Michael listened. No one asked him to do these things. He simply did them. And he never expected praise. One afternoon, Daniel witnessed something remarkable. A young employee accidentally dropped an entire stack of important documents. Papers scattered across the floor. The employee looked terrified. Her supervisor was approaching. Before anyone else reacted, Michael appeared. He knelt beside her and began helping gather the papers. "It's okay," he said calmly. "Everybody makes mistakes." The young woman looked relieved. Michael smiled. Within minutes, the problem was solved. Then he quietly returned to work. Daniel couldn't stop thinking about it. Most people were focused on tasks. Michael focused on people. That made him different. As the week continued, Daniel paid closer attention. The more he observed Michael, the more impressed he became. Employees from every department seemed to know him. And every person had a story. "He helped me when my mother was sick. He trained me when I first joined the company. He stayed late to help me finish a project. He fixed my computer even though it wasn't his responsibility." Again and again, Daniel heard similar stories. Yet Michael never mentioned any of them. In fact, he seemed uncomfortable whenever someone thanked him. On Thursday, Daniel finally sat beside Michael during lunch. "How long have you worked here?" Daniel asked. "Almost 12 years. 12 years? Daniel replied. "That's impressive." Michael shrugged. "I guess so. Have you ever wanted a management position?" Michael thought for a moment. "Maybe. But honestly, helping people has always been more important to me." Daniel found the answer surprising. "What motivates you?" Michael smiled. "My father." Daniel listened carefully. "When I was a kid, my father worked multiple jobs to support our family. He always told me something." "What was it?" Michael looked thoughtful. "He said, success isn't measured by how many people work for you. It's measured by how many people are better because of you." Daniel sat quietly. The word struck him deeply. Success isn't measured by how many people work for you. It's measured by how many people are better because of you. For years Daniel had measured success through profits, growth, and market share. Maybe he had forgotten something important. Maybe leadership wasn't just about business. Maybe it was about people. Friday morning arrived. The final day of Daniel's Undercover week. And it would become the most important day of all. During the night, a powerful storm had swept through the city. When employees arrived at work, they discovered that part of the warehouse roof had been damaged. Rainwater was leaking inside. Several large shipments were at risk. Managers rushed around trying to organize a response. Employees looked confused. Everyone seemed to be waiting for instructions. Then Michael stepped forward. He wasn't a supervisor. He wasn't a department head. Yet people immediately began listening. "Move the inventory away from the leak. Cover those pallets. Protect the electronics first. Bring extra tarps from storage." His voice remained calm. Confident. Focused. Within minutes, employees were working together efficiently. The panic disappeared. The confusion faded. For the next several hours, he worked non-stop. He organized teams, protected inventory, solved problems, encouraged exhausted workers, helped managers coordinate efforts. By the afternoon, the crisis was under control. The company had avoided a disaster. Millions of dollars worth of inventory had been saved. Yet when everything was finished, Michael quietly returned to his normal duties. No celebration. No recognition. No praise. Just work. Daniel was amazed. Throughout his career, he had attended countless leadership seminars. He had read dozens of books. He had met famous executives. Yet one of the greatest leaders he had ever seen was a maintenance worker carrying a toolbox. That evening, Daniel returned home. His undercover week was over. But his perspective had changed forever. For years, he had focused on profits, strategies, and expansion. Those things mattered. But they weren't everything. The true strength of a company wasn't found in financial reports. It was found in its people. And some of the most valuable people were the ones nobody noticed. Over the weekend, Daniel reviewed everything he had learned. The communication failures. The overlooked employees. The hidden struggles. The silent heroes. By Monday morning, he was ready to act. An email was sent to every employee. Mandatory company-wide meeting. Attendance required. Rumors spread throughout the building. Some employees feared layoffs. Others expected a major announcement. At noon, hundreds of workers gathered in the auditorium. The room buzzed with curiosity. Then the lights dimmed. Daniel Harrison walked onto the stage. The audience applauded politely. No one knew what was coming. Daniel smiled. "Good afternoon, everyone." The room fell silent. "Last week, many of you believed I was attending meetings overseas." He paused. "I wasn't." Confused whispers spread through the audience. "I spent the week working among you." The room erupted with surprise. "You knew me as David Carter." Gasps filled the auditorium. Daniel spent the next 20 minutes sharing what he had learned. He spoke about employee concerns, communication problems, workplace challenges, the dedication he had witnessed, the commitment of ordinary workers. Many employees became emotional. For the first time, they felt seen. They felt heard. Then Daniel smiled. "There's one employee I'd like to recognize today." He looked toward the audience. "Michael Torres, would you please join me on stage?" The auditorium exploded with applause. Michael looked stunned. Slowly, he walked toward the stage. Daniel shook his hand. Then he faced the audience. "During the past week, I observed many examples of leadership. But no one impressed me more than Michael." The applause grew louder. When Daniel finished speaking, the entire audience stood. A standing ovation filled the room. Months passed. The company began to change. Employee feedback systems improved. Communication became stronger. Recognition programs celebrated overlooked workers. Morale increased. Customer satisfaction improved. Productivity rose. But the biggest change wasn't reflected in reports. The culture transformed. Employees felt valued, respected, appreciated. And at the center of that transformation was Michael. The man nobody had noticed. Until someone finally took the time to look. One evening, months later, Daniel and Michael stood together overlooking the city from the company's rooftop terrace. The sun was setting. Employees below were heading home. Many smiled. Many waved. The atmosphere felt completely different. Daniel looked at Michael. "You changed this company. Michael smiled and shook his head. No. We changed it together. And in that moment, he realized the most important lesson of his career. Leadership isn't about titles. It isn't about power. It isn't about corner offices or executive privileges. True leadership is about serving others. It's about lifting people up. It's about making lives better. And sometimes, the greatest heroes aren't the people standing in the spotlight. Sometimes, they're the people quietly helping others when nobody is watching. Those are the people who truly change the world.